On my birthday, my son abandoned me in a nursing home, until an incredible truth was revealed. John sat in the passenger seat, trembling with both confusion and heartache. Today was his 68th birthday, a day that had once been full of excitement and celebration. Now, instead of the familiar warmth of family, he felt the chill of betrayal as Ethan pulled into the quaint parking lot of the nursing home. "Happy birthday, Dad," Ethan chirped, his voice devoid of emotion, eyes darting toward his phone. The words burrowed into John's heart, twisting like a knife. Abandoned on this day, the supposed celebration of life, felt like a cruel joke. As the car doors closed with a dull thud, John's world shattered. "You'll be okay here," his son added, half-heartedly, before driving away without a glance back. John's heart sank. Had all those years, all the sacrifices he made for Ethan working day and night in his small business meant nothing? Inside the nursing home, John was greeted by the dull beige walls and faded floral wallpaper that smelled of antiseptic. He was not alone. Gathering in a lounge were fellow residents with tales that hung heavy in the air. A soft-spoken woman shared stories of lost love, her voice breaking as she mentioned how she hadn't seen her children in years. John listened, the tightness in his chest only easing a little as he realized he wasn't the only one navigating the rough waters of abandonment. Conversations unfolded like delicate petals, and soon he found a camaraderie he never expected. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. Days turned into weeks. John joined a group of men who swapped tall tales and debated the finer points of fishing. As the laughter echoed through the hall, he confronted the hollow pang of his life without Ethan, missing the pride that once swelled in his chest. Here he was, a war veteran, an enthusiastic small business owner, now feeling as though his life was being measured by the distance between him and the world outside those nursing home walls. Meanwhile, Ethan grew more frantic in the towering skyscrapers of finance. Each promotion and bonus piled a bit more pressure on his shoulders. Then came the alarming news: their home was at risk. The ambition that drove him to shove his father aside now threatened to crumble everything he held dear. Guilt wove through his thoughts. He couldn't escape the weight of John's absence. Just when John had begun to find hope among the nursing home's chosen family, a letter arrived. The envelope felt heavy with stale promises, revealing Ethan's precarious financial state and the possibility of losing the roof over their heads. Fury mixed with sadness. Would Ethan truly put his ambition before their bond? Even now, at the next community event, John stood amidst chatter and laughter that eerily mirrored the birthday party he had dreamed of. It was time to face Ethan again. As John spotted him across the room, emotions churned within like a storm. They locked eyes, an unfathomable silence ensued before a monumental confrontation awaited them. Two lives caught in the crossfire of choice, love, and a desperate yearning for reconciliation. Would this moment put an end to their estrangement and ignite the possibility of healing? The answers withstood the air, thick like unspoken words, leaving both father and son ready to rewrite the narrative of their lives. John's heart raced as he stood there, caught in a moment that felt both surreal and heavy with meaning. The world around him faded into a blur, the echoes of laughter from the community event blending into a haunting silence. Everything he felt, betrayal, love, hope, collided inside him, creating a storm that reflected the chaos brewing in Ethan's eyes. Ethan hesitated, his posture tense. There was a long pause before he finally stepped forward, his voice quiet but shaky. "Dad, I didn't think you'd be like this." That simple phrase hung in the air like a blade. John's mouth went dry. What did he mean by that? Did he think John would sit idly by and let life wash over him, resigned to both loneliness and neglect? "Ethan," John replied, striving for steadiness, "today is supposed to be a day of celebration. Instead, it feels like a funeral for what we had." The raw honesty in his words struck a chord, and he noticed Ethan flinch, the weight of their history flashing across his son's face. "You don't understand," Ethan snapped, the emotion spilling over. "Things have changed. I thought you'd be happy to be here, to be safe." There was a brittle edge to his words, a shield he put up to deflect the vulnerability lingering just beneath. John could see the man he raised, now struggling between ambition and accountability, caught in a web of his own making. The lounge was filled with well-meaning glances from onlookers, but all John saw was the disappointment in his son's eyes. "Safe? Ethan, this isn't safety. It's a prison for me. You left me here alone. I thought I meant more to you than that." His voice strained, anger giving way to hurt. Ethan stepped back, the reality of their bond crashing around them. "I thought about you every day," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "But I had to focus on getting ahead. I thought that was what you wanted for me." For a moment, the mask of confidence peeled away, revealing a son lost, anxious, and desperate for his father's approval. John felt the sting of those words. This was not just about conflict, it was about perception, deep-rooted misunderstandings that went both ways. "But at what cost, Ethan? You're losing yourself, and in the process, you lost me." As silence wrapped around them like a thick fog, John understood that this confrontation could either shatter the remnants of their relationship or pave the way for something new. He took a deep breath, his emotions swirling into a contagious desire for healing. "What do we do now?" Ethan finally asked, vulnerability etched on his face. For the first time, John saw a flicker of the bond they once shared, a glimmer of hope flickering in the dim room. "We start fresh," John replied, his voice steady. "We need to talk, really talk. I want to understand your fears, and I need you to understand mine." Ethan nodded slowly, relief washing over him. They had reached a critical crossroads, and the potential for healing lay before them. But just then, before either could fully regroup, a nurse burst into the room, her expression serious. "I'm sorry to interrupt, but we need to speak to you both urgently." The room went still, curiosity replacing tension as the door swung closed behind her. "What is it?" John asked, anxiety creeping back in. "We've discovered something important related to your situation," she said, glancing between father and son. "Something you both need to know." A knot formed in John's stomach. What revelation awaited them now? Would it tear them apart again, or was it the truth that could finally pull them together? Only time would tell. The nurse's gaze flickered between them, her lips pursed as if she struggled to find the right words. "We've just received some test results," she continued, her voice steady yet laced with urgency. "It's about your condition, Mr. Dalton. There is something you need to know about the diagnosis." The words hit John like a cold wave. He felt the room spinning, a knot tightening in his throat. "Diagnosis? What are you talking about?" he managed to say, his voice sounding foreign to his own ears. Ethan stepped closer, fear creeping into his expression. "What do you mean? Is it bad?" She nodded slightly. "We've found something that could change everything." John's heart raced again, but this time it was not just from tension. His mind raced through countless possibilities. How could this possibly change anything? He had already felt as if the world had tossed him aside, like an old object. The idea that there could be a revelation so monumental sent a shiver down his spine. "We've detected a rare condition," the nurse continued, "one that may offer you some unexpected options. If treated, there's a chance you could regain some of what you've lost." John felt his breath catch. Regain? The word echoed in his mind like a drumbeat. Before he could grasp its full meaning, Ethan's voice cut through the haze. "What do you mean by regain what he has lost?" His tone was tight, controlled, but John could see the hope flickering in his eyes. The nurse took a careful breath, her gaze steady. "It means that the regression you've experienced could potentially be reversed. It's rare, but you're at a stage where treatment could be effective." Hope and fear swirled within him. John looked over at Ethan, and for the first time, they were connected by something other than pain. A thin line of hope began to stretch between them, as fragile as a spider's silk but nonetheless present. Are you saying my memory could come back? John asked, half skeptical, half hopeful. Memories he had considered lost in the fog of neglect might resurface, and with them, perhaps the warmth of their relationship could rekindle. Yes, the nurse affirmed gently. It's a long process, and results vary. But there's a chance. John turned to Ethan, searching his son's face. There was something there now, determination, maybe even excitement. Do you want to do this? Do you think we can try together? His voice wavered. It was the first time in a long while he had addressed Ethan with more than disappointment and anger. Ethan glanced down, then back up. I want to. His response was barely above a whisper, but John could feel it ripple through them both, a shared breath of clarity amid the looming chaos. Just as hope started to radiate between them, the nurse shifted her weight, a slightly worried expression shadowing her face. I must warn you, the process won't be easy. It may bring up memories that are painful. I don't care, John said, firming his resolve. I need my memories back, whatever they are. I need to fight for this. As Ethan nodded, a flicker of light ignited between them, a newfound bond tethered by hope. But just as they began to soften into the possibility of change, the room darkened again, tension creeping back into the atmosphere. A wailing sound echoed from the hallway. The nurse sighed, her face tightening. I'm afraid we can't waste any time. There's a lot we need to discuss, and treatment options to explore. John felt dread creep back in. It was all unfolding too quickly. Wait, he said, panic creeping into his voice. What if we lose the chance to try? The nurse prepared to respond, but just then another doctor rushed in, his expression grave. We need to talk about his medical history right now. Both father and son stared at the newcomer, tension knitting their brows. What secrets were buried in John's past that could change everything they had just started to rebuild? They were on the precipice of a daunting revelation, and the truth was closing in around them. Would it offer them a chance for healing, or would it deepen the divide that had nearly destroyed them? John's heart pounded in his chest. The urgency in the doctor's voice was like a jolt of reality, pushing his hopes to the back of his mind. He glanced at Ethan, who looked just as lost, confusion mixing with anxiety in his young eyes. What do you mean? John found himself asking, his voice barely above a whisper. My medical history? What does it have to do with anything? The new doctor, a tall man with glasses slipping down his nose, moved closer, eyeing both of them intently. There are factors we need to consider regarding your treatment options. Things from your past that could significantly impact your recovery. John felt that knot tighten again, but this time it was not fear, it was dread gripping in cold. I don't remember much. Whatever you need is probably lost. The doctor shook his head, his gaze firm. That's what we're here to uncover. There may be risks tied to any new treatment based on your history. We need to ensure you're fully informed. Ethan stepped forward, eyes bright with determination. What do you know about him? About us? A flicker of surprise crossed the doctor's face. Your father's condition is complex. He may have a rare form of amnesia connected to traumatic events. Understanding that could be crucial to his treatment plan. Trauma. The word hung heavy in the air. John felt Ethan's hand grasp his, the warmth washing over him like a wave. Could there be things he had buried so deep that neither of them could even scratch the surface? What kind of trauma? John's voice broke slightly, insecurity gnawing at his insides. The nurse stepped in, her face softening. It doesn't mean your memories are gone forever. Often, with the right support and time, they can resurface. But John couldn't shake the feeling that their time was running short. And if I don't remember? What if I don't want to remember? The doctor nodded, the seriousness of the situation settling in. These memories can be intertwined with healing. Many patients, when facing memories of the past, find strength in addressing them. But we can't rush this. We'll move at your pace. Can you guarantee that it won't hurt us more? Ethan asked, the fear evident in his voice. There it was, the heart of their struggle. No guarantee, the doctor admitted gently. But I believe confronting the past can lead to healing. It can help you both. Silence fell in the room. It wrapped around them, an unsettling blanket as they processed what they had just learned. Hope still flickered, but now it was entwined with fear. Fear of what lay buried in the past. John took a deep breath. I'm willing to try. Whatever it takes, we need to move forward. His voice was steadier now, resolved. Ethan squeezed his hand, a silent promise of support. Together, he murmured, warmth flooding his tone, but as they prepared to delve deeper, more wailing echoed in the halls, a reminder of the chaos beyond their fragile bubble. Moments later, the nurse looked outside, frowning. I'm sorry, but we have to address an emergency, she said, urgency creeping back into her voice. You'll have to stay here for a moment. Stay here? Why now? John felt a pit forming in his stomach. But just as quickly as she voiced her concern, the doctor stepped closer. John, this could be important. We might not have much time left to discuss your medical history before the next steps. The nurse hesitated before glancing at John again, her brow furrowed as if she was wrestling with unspoken fears. I promise we'll come back to this. I just need you both to trust us. Ethan looked back and forth between them, trapped in a storm of emotions. What secrets are we on the edge of discovering? He asked, confusion and worry blending in his voice. As they waited in the quiet, unknowing what would unfold next, John could hardly breathe. What if the truth only served to separate them further? The air felt thick with unanswered questions and looming shadows, wrapping around them like an unwelcome stranger. Just then, the door swung open again, but instead of the nurse, a figure John recognized from his past, a face forgotten but felt deep within him, began to step into the room. Would this be the moment their fragile bond cracked, or would it open the door to the healing they desperately sought? The door creaked open, revealing a woman who looked like a ghost from John's past. Her presence was sudden, almost electric, sending a shiver down his spine. She had familiar features, the same high cheekbones and intense blue eyes that seemed to pierce through the veil of shadows surrounding his memory. Anna? John's voice trembled, caught between disbelief and nostalgia. The name slipped from his lips like an echo, full of years lost and emotions muffled by time. Ethan's grip on John's hand tightened, a possessive, protective move that spoke volumes. Do you know her? He asked, his voice steady, but John's heart pounded louder in response. Yes, no. I think I used to. John struggled to piece together the fragments of recognition. Memories danced just beyond reach, teasing him. Anna stepped forward, her face a mixture of concern and relief. John. I've been looking for you. Her voice was soft, warm like the sun breaking through dark clouds. Yet, there was a layer of apprehension. I didn't know what happened. I thought, she faltered as if the weight of her words pressed on her throat. Why are you here? John managed to ask. Each word felt heavy, wrapped in uncertainty. Could this woman be part of the trauma he had buried? I was called. Regarding your treatment. About everything. Anna's gaze flicked to Ethan, then back to John. I'm here to help. To make sure you get the support you need. Ethan shot a skeptical glance at John, concern etched on his young face. What do you know about his past? What did you do to him? Nothing. Anna's voice was raised, but it softened immediately when she turned back to John. I swear, I didn't want to leave you. You were the best thing in my life. John's breath hitched. The last pieces fell into place like a puzzle. The memory of her laughter, the sound of her voice, each thread tied together by emotions that felt foreign yet familiar. You left me in that place in the nursing home. The accusation hung thick in the air, raw and unfiltered. Anna stepped closer, tears gathering in her eyes. I didn't abandon you. I thought it was for the best. I was scared, she pleaded. You had changed so much, I thought you wouldn't want me near you. Changed? John felt the crack in his heart widen. Or was it you who changed? You left me at my lowest point. As the pain surged, John felt Ethan's steadying presence beside him, a reminder he wasn't alone in this storm. John searched her face, looking for the woman who once meant so much to him. I don't remember everything. But I know betrayal when I see it. I never meant to betray you, Anna insisted, trembling as if John's words were physical blows. I thought you wouldn't forgive me, but I'm here now. I can help. We can find a way. Find a way? Ethan cut in sharply. His youthful anger sparked protectively. After all these years? How can we trust you? The silence that followed felt louder than the chaos outside. Each of them wrestled with their own storm memories, hurt, and tangled emotions. Suddenly, the nurse rushed back into the room, a look of urgency on her face. We need you all to stay calm, she said, but the tremor in her voice contradicted her words. There's been a code blue down the hall. We may need your assistance. As soon as she spoke, the room's atmosphere shifted. An unseen tension loomed, threatening to drown them all in chaos again. You can't leave, John blurted out, fear creeping back in, a grip clenching his heart. What if we're about to uncover something vital? What if I need you both? Anna's expression shifted, an understanding dawning as if she sensed the doorway to healing opening ahead of them. John, we will get through this. But we need to face the truth first, whatever it may be. But before he could respond, the sound of panic surged through the halls, making John's heart race again. Would the answer they sought be lost amidst the chaos? He looked at Ethan, then Anna, both faces blurring together in his mind. What came next could change everything. Would they venture forward together, or would life continue pulling them apart? The chaos outside amplified, a cacophony of rushed footsteps and muffled shouts echoing down the corridor. John felt trapped, the overwhelming mix of emotions swirling in his chest made even more turbulent by the urgency in the air. He turned back to Anna, desperation coloring his voice. You can't leave. Not now. Ethan's grip on John's hand slackened, uncertainty flickering in those young eyes. What do we do? We can't just ignore what's happening. Anna stepped forward, her presence a stabilizing force amidst their panic. We find a way to help, and we also find the truth together. John's heart wavered. Did he really want to uncover truths buried deep in his memory? Yet, how could he face the uncertainty of it all? The very thought of Anna's return pulled at the frayed edges of his healing heart, tying him back to the pain of betrayal. I don't know if I can trust you, he finally admitted, his voice cracking. You walked away from me. I know, she whispered, her blue eyes shimmering. But I'm here now. I've spent days searching for you. I want to walk away again. The atmosphere shifted again as they heard more frantic footsteps approaching, growing louder. The nurse reappeared, urgency etched on her face, breaking their moment. We need volunteers, anyone who can lend a hand. Please. Ethan looked at John, his brow furrowed. What if we really can help? Are you sure that's safe? John felt torn, a deep sense of loyalty battling against fear of the unknown. Safety isn't guaranteed anywhere, Anna said softly. But together, we can face anything. Taking a deep breath, John met both their determined expressions. He felt the weight of the past push against his heart, but he saw something he hadn't expected: hope. Let us do this, he said, standing a bit taller. It was a moment of solidarity, and for the first time in a long while, he felt a sliver of deferred courage. As they stepped into the hallway, the chaos engulfed them. Medical staff rushed by, urgency in every stride. The air was thick with tension, the fluorescent lights overhead buzzed ominously as they followed the frantic energy forward. The trio moved quickly toward the site of the commotion. They found an open doorway leading to a room filled with worried faces: doctors, nurses, and a patient struggling for breath on a gurney. Over here. We need help. One of the nurses called out, her voice sharp with demand. John's heart raced as he approached, adrenaline igniting his senses. He turned to see Anna leap into action, her training evident as she assessed the situation. The compassion in her touch, the authority in her voice, unlocked something deep within him. Ethan stood beside John, pale-faced but resolute. "How can we help?" "Stay close. If we talk, we can guide the staff," Anna directed, her eyes darting between John and Ethan, urging them to engage. As they worked together, the shadows of the past flickered like ghosts at the edges of John's memory. But here was a new urgency to help, to understand, to possibly heal wounds that felt forever open. The struggle of the patient grew tense, and just as the team began a rhythm, a wild alarm pierced through the air. John's heart stopped momentarily as he locked eyes with Anna. "Stay focused," she shouted, her voice ringing through the rising chaos. His mind raced. How far had they come together? Would this moment reveal the connection, the healing he had longed for all this time? With every heartbeat, he felt a choice pressing against him. Would he keep moving forward into the light or retreat into the shadows of his past? Emotions surged as the reality of the situation sunk in deeper. He wanted to confront the betrayals, to face what Anna had done, but also to rebuild something fragile and beautiful. Just then, as if pulled by fate, a door swung open at the far end of the hallway. A figure stepped through, one John recognized all too well, sending waves of disbelief through him. Why were they here now, and what would this mean for everything ahead? The figure that stepped into the chaos sent a shiver down John's spine. It was Henry, his estranged father. For a moment, time froze, and the chaotic din of the hospital faded into a distant hum. John's breath hitched, shock warping his features. How had he ended up here, amidst the fray, just when John was grappling with everything he thought he had put behind him? "Dad?" The word felt foreign on his tongue, a tentative question mingled with confusion and disbelief. Henry's eyes scanned the room, frantically searching. When they locked on John, there was a flicker of something. Regret? Hope? It was too fleeting to tell. "John." Thank God. Henry pushed through the crowd of nursing staff and medical equipment toward him. "I was worried I didn't know where you were." "But why are you here?" John asked, his voice rising as hurt bubbled to the surface. "You didn't care before. Why would you show up now?" "I'm not here for myself," Henry said quickly, urgency edging his words. "I came to help a patient in critical condition. They told me to rush in, but when I heard your name I had to find you." John's heart twisted at his father's admission. Could he truly believe this tumultuous moment was marked by genuine concern? Henry's brows furrowed, his hands trembling. There was something unsettling about the look on his father's face, like a man trying to grasp at a smoke that would slip right through his fingers. Meanwhile, Anna and Ethan stood by, caught in the swirl of emotion. Ethan looked up at John, wide-eyed and unsure. "You okay?" "Not really," John replied, not taking his gaze from Henry. "Look," Anna interjected gently, stepping closer. "This isn't just about you, John. We have to focus on what's happening here right now." In a deep breath, John wrestled with the conflict churning inside him. Did he have the time to confront the past? The patient on the gurney gave a strained gasp, breaking his moment of indecision. He reminded himself of the urgency all around them. The importance of healing, of connection soared higher in the list of priorities than unearthing old wounds. "Let us help," he said finally, surprising even himself with the calmness in his voice. "We can deal with this later." John could feel Anna's approval in the supportive weight of her presence as they shifted their focus to the patient. Henry took a deep breath and moved back toward the medical team, urgency galvanizing his steps. Still, John could not shake the sense of betrayal laced into this reunion. Here they were, near a potential crisis, and yet were they merely grasping at the edges of connection? His heart buzzed with uncertainty, but that flicker of hope still lingered. "Let us keep talking to the doctors, John," Anna said, her voice steadying him. "We need to keep communicating." "Right," John replied, his mind racing through instructions and protocols. The bond they were trying to forge once again blurred the lines of their prior relationship. He could hear his father speaking to the nurses, directing effort, but also exchanging fleeting glances with John amidst the whirlwind. John keenly felt the tug of emotions anew. Would the chaos ignite a restoration of trust? Or would this frantic moment simply fasten the already knotted threads of their connection back together? Then, a chilling alarm blared again throughout the hospital, wailing like a siren. John's stomach dropped as he turned toward the source. The door swung open once more, and in stormed a team of specialists, their faces stone-cold, ready for whatever lay ahead. Is that them? John thought, fear coursing through him. Will they be able to save her? As he prepared to engage, the echoes of his past clashed with the urgency of the present. Could he truly bridge the divide with his father while holding it all together? And just then, a voice cut through the tension, "We need more hands." Who's ready? John's heart raced. Did he have enough courage to step forward into the unknown, faced with the ghosts of his past? Or would he simply fade into the backdrop of this moment, abandoning both the healing of the patient and the chance to reconnect with Henry? The question lingered as he took a breath, ready to face whatever came next. John's heart pounded as the urgency of the moment hit him like a freight train. The hospital was a whirlwind of sound and movement, yet for him, everything zeroed in on that crucial decision: step forward or retreat into the shadows of his past. He could feel Anna's eyes on him, urging him silently. Who's ready? The voice echoed again, sharper this time, breaking through the suffocating tension. It was a call to action, a demand that jostled his thoughts back to the present. He remembered the patient. Inhaling deeply, John felt the heat rise in his chest. "I'm in," he called, stepping forward. He could hardly believe it, but something kept pushing him. Maybe it was the flicker of hope he caught in Henry's eyes, or maybe it was the realization that healing the patient could also mean forging new paths with his estranged father. Henry turned at John's declaration, his eyes shining with a mixture of gratitude and relief. "Thank you, John," he said, his voice strained yet full of warmth. The words struck a chord deep within John, a twist of unexpected emotions coursing through him. As the specialists began to work, John found himself after Henry, but this time, he was prepared to engage. He focused on the tasks at hand, channeling his determination into each movement. They began to stabilize the patient, working tirelessly together amid chaotic shouts and beeping machines. John's hands trembled slightly as he passed equipment to the nurses, trying to keep pace with the frenzy. He could feel the weight of his father beside him, operating with practiced efficiency, facing the crisis head-on. A strange unity formed in their movements, an unspoken acknowledgement of their shared goal. Suddenly, the patient's heart monitor gave a sharp beep. It surged to a rapid rhythm, causing everyone in the room to freeze momentarily. Worry washed over John as he met Henry's gaze. Despite the chaos, he could see the determination etched across his father's features. "Adjust the 4." Henry barked to the nurses, quickly diverting their focus to overpower the alarm. "Right. I'll grab it," John shouted, adrenaline igniting a spark of renewed resolve. He dashed to the supply cabinet, working as if the lingering rifts between them no longer mattered. As he returned, handing over the supplies, John's mind raced into unknown territory. Did he want acceptance from Henry? Answers to long-buried questions? Or was he ready to rewrite their story, one shaky moment at a time? The door swung open again, more medical staff flooding in, their faces a mix of intensity and urgency. The room shifted, a new wave of specialists ready to tackle the challenges ahead. John felt the expansion of resource and urgency, yet it also ignited the confusion of his feelings toward his father. There was something powerful in the connection forged not by words but by shared experiences, a space filled with tension and resolve, a bridge made of chaos. Suddenly, among the noise, Ethan's voice broke through. "Hey, John." The young boy stood at the threshold, wide-eyed and innocent. "Are you helping?" John glanced back, his heart squeezing at the sight of Ethan's concern. "Yeah, buddy. We're all helping out," he replied, forcing a smile even as conflicting emotions swirled inside. "Good. I knew you would." Ethan beamed, dispelling a little of the weight on John's shoulders. At that moment, something shifted within him. The urgency around them didn't just signal a crisis, it held the potential for transformation. A renewal of connection, a chance to show Ethan what resilience looked like not just in crisis but in relationships, But even as John felt himself moving forward, a shadow of doubt lingered. Could he truly forgive? Would this moment lead to understanding, or would it simply deepen the scars? As he turned back to his father, trying to gauge any sign of reconciliation, another alarm disrupted the mounting tension, the sound echoing ominously through the halls. This time it was an emergency call, one that jolted John into reality once more. Here we go again, he thought, bracing himself for a new twist. Would he find the courage to confront his father's past, or would the next wave of chaos pull them further apart? The unknown awaited, thick with possibility. John steadied himself, the sharp alarm ringing like a siren in his ears. It was a familiar sound, one that had haunted him in quieter moments, reminding him of unfinished business. He exchanged a quick glance with Henry. Every clock in the room seemed to slow as the heaviness of their unspoken words loomed between them. Let us focus. Henry's voice cut through the fog, rallying the team. John could feel the rush of determination surging through him, fueling his resolve. Together, they moved with an urgency that transcended the chaos. Together, they were fighting an unknown enemy. Their past, the next few minutes blurred into an adrenaline-fueled flurry. They shouted commands, shared glances full of tense communication, and with each wave of chaos, John felt a shift not just in the patient's condition, but in the fragile relationship with his father. Each life they helped save drew them closer, a thread woven through the fabric of crisis. When the patient stabilized, a wave of relief washed over John. They managed to buy a little time, but something in his gut told him it wouldn't last. He allowed himself a smile as he turned to Henry. Good work. Nothing we can't handle, Henry responded, but there was an uncharacteristic softness in his tone. Before John could reply, Ethan's voice cut through the noise once again. Can I help more? He stepped cautiously closer, eyes wide, hope radiating from his little frame. Of course, buddy. John replied, offering a thumbs up that seemed to energize the boy. You can help make this place even better. Just wait till we're all done here. Ethan's nod was quick, but John noticed the small frown that crossed his lips, a hint of confusion blooming in those innocent eyes. John's heart ached with the weight of his unspoken struggles. Here was this child, embodying the very future John was desperate to hold on to, yet still shackled to his past. Suddenly, the emergency room doors swung open again. A gurney rolled in, and the sight sent a shiver racing through John. The patient was critical, and panic climbed back into the air as the medical team swung into action. Another trauma! Henry shouted, rallying everyone. As he began organizing the chaos, John felt a sinking feeling take root. They were all in for another battle, but this time, the urgency felt different. This time, he felt his father's presence, stronger and more solid than before. John, help me here. Henry called, as he gestured to the chart in his hands. This one is severe. Without a moment's hesitation, John was at his father's side, reading the notes quickly. It felt surreal. They were side by side, but in the intensity of the moment, it seemed as if their past was still lingering, lurking in the corners waiting for a moment to strike. They worked almost in sync, each movement a blend of instinct and old habits reminding him of childhood afternoons playing doctor with cardboard boxes. But the ghosts of their past still whispered doubts. Keep the pressure. Henry's command snapped John fully back. The overwhelming rhythm of the room pushed him forward, blurring lines as he pressed bandages into place, forcing his mind to quiet. Why didn't you come back for me, Dad? The words almost slipped out before he could catch them, ignited by frustration. But Henry didn't hear. He was too focused on the patient in front of them, perhaps just as it always was. Then a medic, breathless, approached. We've got the family out here. They need updates. John froze as a realization struck. The connection between caring for the patient and sharing their struggle with the family clenched tightly around him. It wasn't just about healing one life, it was about healing relationships. He hesitated for a moment, glancing at Ethan and then back at Henry, who was busy checking vitals. Do I go? Or do I stay? He felt caught, the weight of those words heavy, as if just letting them linger could burst everything open again. With a newfound strength coursing through him, he made a decision. Across the room, Ethan fidgeted. John could see the confusion written all over his face. The boy wanted answers. Ethan, John knelt down to meet his gaze. Sometimes you have to face the hardest moments to see the truth come to light. Are you ready for that? Ethan's eyes widened, the innocence replaced with a glimmer of understanding. Yeah, I am, he replied quietly. John took a deep breath, heart racing, realizing the moment had arrived. Would he have the courage to confront both his father's and his own past? As he stood, each heartbeat echoed the question. Would this revelation fracture their fragile bond or forge a bond anew? As the machines beeped rhythmically behind him, he took a step forward, feeling the echoes of change reverberate in the air. The weight was almost unbearable. The air felt electric as John stepped forward, a palpable shift rippling through the chaotic emergency room. It was time. Time to face his father and confront the shadows of their shared past. Henry turned, catching John's eye, and in that instant, they found a thread of understanding that had long been frayed. I'll be right back, John said to Ethan, who stood wide-eyed, desperately seeking reassurance. Stay here with the team. He moved toward the door, each step echoing the rhythm of his racing heart. He felt the weight of his father's presence behind him, ready for whatever came next, uncertain but willing. As the door swung open, they stepped into the waiting area. The subdued yet anxious atmosphere buzzed with families concerned for their loved ones. John spotted a woman pacing, her anxiety tangible. She was the patient's mother. The air grew thick with unspoken fears, and John felt the call to connect, to share in this moment of vulnerability. Taking a deep breath, he approached her. Excuse me, ma'am? I'm part of the team working on your loved one. Her eyes flickered with confusion, then settled on him, filled with a desperate hope. You don't understand. He's everything to me. How is he? Her voice broke, and it mirrored his own heartache, the very struggle he had faced with his son. We're doing everything we can. It's a tough fight right now, John replied, his own resolve strengthening in that moment. But we won't give up. With every word exchanged, he felt more connected not just to this woman but to the very notion of family that had once felt so distant. It dawned on him that healing was as much about caring for others as it was about confronting his own pain. John's gaze turned back to the doorway, just as Henry strode in. With him was Anna, who had shared a knowing look of support. Each of them was tied into this web of shared experiences, and suddenly it felt possible to weave a new narrative. Are you all right? Henry asked, his voice filled with urgency. I'm good. It's just the families need us, John responded, conviction blazing within him. We can't let our past hold us down anymore. Henry nodded, understanding reflected in his wearied features. You're right. It's not just about one patient, it's the families, the people. We need to be here for them. As they moved towards the waiting families, the chaos within the hospital settled momentarily into focus. Each interaction became an opportunity for growth, an avenue to restore what was once broken. Moments later, they collectively approached the mother again, laying out updates both optimistic and somber. She listened intently, and John could sense the bond forming not just between him and the families, but also one that held Henry and Anna in the mix. Hours passed in the whirlpool of emotions. Laughter often intermingled with tears as the surgical team fought to stabilize the patient. But through it all, John felt a connection blossoming with each person whose life they touched, a reminder that they all shared the heartbeat of humanity. Finally, when the patient was safely transferred to recovery, the tension in the air eased slightly. John allowed himself a moment. He turned to Henry and Anna, gratefulness radiating from him. We did it, John said, the fatigue apparent but quickly overshadowed by triumph. Together. Henry's gaze held a shy light, eyes softening as the reality of their shared experience seeped in. We did, John. I'm proud of you. Those words felt like balm to John's bruised soul, igniting a flicker of hope where darkness once reigned. Ethan appeared beside them, his small hand clutching John's arm. Did we help? His voice was filled with an innocence that choked John up. Absolutely, buddy, John replied, kneeling in front of him, taking that small hand firmly in his. "You have no idea how important you are." Then, as if a curtain was drawn back, John turned to Henry and Anna. "This wasn't just about one patient. It's about us too, isn't it? The truths we've avoided." Henry's shoulders straightened, the resolve in him suddenly fierce. "You're right. We let the past control us for far too long." Anna, standing close by, added, "If we can unite through this crisis, we can rebuild. We can't let chaos define us, can't let fear hold us prisoner." With a renewed determination, John turned back to Ethan. "We should always keep talking, sharing, and understanding each other. No more hiding." Tears filled Ethan's eyes, and John felt the tightness grip his throat once more, not from sorrow, but from something deeper. "I promise, Dad. I won't ever stop trying again." John felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude wash over him. This was more than the beginning of healing, it was a promise of what could be. As they all embraced a family reunited in the absence of silence, the warmth enveloping them was a profound reminder of love found through struggle. Amid the chaos of the hospital, moments of light seemed to dance around them. But even amid the swirling uncertainty of life, John knew they would face it all together, each new day offering the chance to rebuild the broken pieces into something whole. "So, what's next?" Ethan chirped, his youthful enthusiasm cutting through the emotional haze. "Next, we keep moving forward," John replied, and this time he truly meant it. With his heart full, John realized that transformation didn't always come in grand gestures. Sometimes, it blossomed in the slightest moments: a shared laugh, a kind word, or a gentle touch. Parenting, healing, and rebuilding a bond required work, but it was work worth doing, and though the past would linger, it no longer defined him. Embracing each new day felt like stepping into the light, one courageous step at a time. Don't miss out on more powerful stories like this. You need to subscribe now to our channel. Hit that like button to feed the algorithm and keep the stories coming. Share your feelings about this heartfelt ending in the comments below. How did it impact you? And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to hear this message of hope and healing. This is the moment to show your support.